Good evening, Facebook. It is Fearless Friday, and I'm so excited to be on here. Listen, I want you guys to like, share, tag, invite anybody you may believe may need to hear a word, may need to hear something that's going to help elevate them, may need to get them to that next level. Let me tell you, God has a plan for your life, and His plan for your life is to elevate you, is to prosper you in every area of your life. Listen, I'm not going to be before you long, but I did want to come on here, and I did want to give you something that would help to hopefully transform your mindset, get you to think in the way that God sees you, how God sees you. It's Fearless Friday, and I'm going to be talking about, I'm not going to be before you long, but I'm going to be talking about you can't stop what God ordained. You can't stop what God ordained. Let me tell you something. Though you may see different things in your life, though you may see yourself in different circumstances, in different situations, and different things that may come up against you, but you have to walk in the fearlessness that God has given you. Why? Because you can't stop what God ordained, no matter what it may look like, no matter what it may seem like. He has given you the strength. He has given you the ability. He has given you what you need in order for you to move into that best place of your life, in order for you to prosper in your life. Let me tell you, you can't stop what God ordained. He ordained you to be fruitful and multiply. He ordained you to have dominion over the airs, over the fowls of the air, and over the fish of the sea. He ordained you to have dominion over everything that you come in contact with, for you to walk in fearlessness, for you to walk in authority. So I'm telling you now, you can't stop what God ordained. So no matter what it looks like in the natural, no matter what it seems like, no matter what, again, your bank account looks like, no matter what your children are doing, no matter what it may look like at work, no matter what it may look like in your business, no matter what it may look like in your relationships, if you just get this inside of you and understand that you can't stop what God ordained. He ordained you to be fruitful. He ordains you to be multiplied. He ordains you to grow. He ordains you to be what He's called you to be. He ordains you to have abundance. He ordains you to walk in joy and love and peace and faithfulness and gentleness and goodness. He ordains you to do these things. He wants you to think how He thinks of you. He says, I have a plan for your life. I know the thoughts that I have towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil, of hope and a future. So let me tell you something. God wants you to have a future. He wants you to identify with the fact that He wants you to have a bright and successful and advancing future. He has visions. He has goals. He has dreams. You have visions. You have goals. You have dreams that He wants to get out of you. And I'm telling you like this, you can't stop what God ordained. There's sometimes that you might think that you're not in the position to be where you are, but let me tell you something, you're in the right position because He can use whomever He chooses to use. He's no respecter of person. And I tell you this, there may be times where you may think, how can I pay this? How can I do this? How can I do that? But He's already given you the gifts. He's already given you the talents. He's already given you the skills. He's going to move things in your direction. He's going to blow an east wind towards you. He's going to give you some thoughts, give you some dreams, give you some vision, give you some goals, give you some things that are going to help you walk in that fearlessness that you are, the authority that's inside of you that tries to deny what God has already placed in you. Let me tell you something. You can't stop what God has ordained. He's ordained you to be king, priest, a royal generation, a chosen generation. Let me tell you something. As you understand who you are and you walk in who you are and you believe in who you are and you understand your worth and you understand your destiny and you understand your purpose, then you'll understand that you go through certain things in order for you to come out in a greater light. You go through certain things so you can come out better. Let me tell you something. When you look at coal and you look at a diamond, it is the same thing but in a different form. Let me tell you something. You can't stop what God ordained. You may look at a caterpillar and you may look at a butterfly, but let me tell you something. They are the same thing, but in a different form. Let me tell you something. You may look at a tree, you may look at a bat, you may look at some tables, but let me tell you, they're the same thing, just in a different form. Let me tell you, if you walk in fearlessness, if you walk in the things in which you desire to be, if you walk in that fearlessness, you understand that you can't stop what God ordained. There's something great on the inside of you and He wants to get it out, but you got to come in alignment with what He says about you. And what He says about you, He says, I know you before you even entered into your mother's womb. He said that I know you. You are great. You are powerful. You have something unique on the inside of you. And I want you to understand that you can't stop what God ordained. He ordains you to be something magnificent. He ordains you to be something phenomenal. He ordains you to be something that doesn't walk by that walks by faith and not by sight, not looking at what it is that you believe, that your own abilities, not believing in your own abilities, but understand that you have something deeper on the inside of you that can come out. Now it's him. It says, now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that he can even ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Let me tell you something. You got something on the inside of you. If you would just stretch yourself, if you would just get out of your comfort zone and walk in that fearlessness and understand that you can't stop what God ordained. Let me tell you something. David was only 15 years old when he got ordained, when Samuel came to his house and he ordained him with the oil. Let me tell you something. He had seven older brothers, but none of them had what he had. God had ordained him for that particular time, for that particular season, for that particular reason. And let me tell you something. If you just identify with who God made you and let ego go, but understand that you walk in humility, that you walk in that grace, you walk in that meekness. Let me tell you something. If you understand who you are and whose you are, then you'll walk in that fearlessness. You'll walk in that confidence. You'll walk in those things that are supposed to get you to where God would have you to be. But you got to walk in fearlessness, and you got to understand that you can't stop what God ordained. You can't stop it, no matter how you may try to perceive it in your life, no matter how you may try to think of it in your own mindset. Let me tell you something. If you want to transform your life, if you want to think about where you're headed, let me tell you something. You have to understand that you have to walk in who you are. Don't be so mindful of other people's thoughts of you. Don't be so mindful of what you perceive others' lives to be. If their life looks more more famous or looks more grandeur, don't look at that, but understand that you have a purpose. You have a plan. God has a plan for you, and he wants you to walk in that fearlessness and understand that you can't stop what God ordained. He's going to open doors. He's going to open those windows. You're going to see an overflow. If you just get it inside of your head, if you get it inside of your mind, if you get it inside of your heart, you can't stop what God ordained. No matter what you think, no matter what you feel, no matter what circumstance comes about, no matter what you may try to steal yourself away from what God has for you. Let me tell you something. Jacob, he was fighting with God. He was fighting with God. He was fighting with an identity that he believed that he was not worthy to receive what God had for him. So he fought with him. He was going in his mind about how he did his thing in the past, how he conspired with his mother. He was thinking about that, and God was showing him, listen, you have access to me, but I want you to walk in that fearlessness. I want you to walk in that freedom and understand that you can't stop what God ordained. He ordains you to be a royal priesthood, a chosen generation, his special treasure. His special treasure. And so I want you to walk in the fearlessness that God has already put inside of you, placed inside of you, empowered you. Nothing can stop what God ordained. Facebook, I love you. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank you so much. I want you, again, to have a blessed, favored, Fearless Friday.